establishing shot. We're going to debone a chicken.
This is Steve. What are you going to do, Steve?
Debone a chicken. Debone a chicken. Debone a chicken. To make Piri-Piri chicken.
Excellent.
So, watch as I cut away the loose fat from the chicken. What we want to have is a chicken that retains the bones in the wings and the legs, but removes the bones from around the chest cavity and everywhere else. So what I'm going to do after I finish removing the excess fat is turn the chicken over and start my cut from the front end with a very sharp knife right along the middle down towards the tail. Then I'm going to systematically, methodically cut down along the bones, close enough to the bones to retain as much meat as I can in my hand, and go down and start working towards the wings and the tail. There's a few bones that you have to cut around, and the wishbone on the other side, but I'm going to start pulling and just separating the chicken, and we're going to keep the skin on it and everything.
And what, Steve, can I ask you a question? What is Piri-Piri chicken?
It's a traditional Portuguese dish, and the word being derived from an African Piri-Piri pepper, which was brought to the African continent by the Spanish and Portuguese, but it's the African term for the hot spicy chicken. So right now I've worked down around the one leg on the one side.
And how do you get through that knuckle bone?
Well, I find the natural place. The easiest thing to do is pick either the wing or the leg up and find that, I call it the sweet spot, where the cartilage is and separates it's an easy place to get your knife. I'm trying to keep as much meat on my skinned bird, or not skinned bird, but my bone bird. And I'm going to repeat this process on the other side. And I'm going to start removing the other end, the other half, as I work towards the top end, the breast side of the bird. And I think with a little practice, after you do a few of these, you'll get the idea. And if you look into, when we get done, I'll show you what's remaining of the carcass. It'll be a good thing to do to make your broth and soup for another dish. So you don't want to really throw that away.
Steve, do you have to use any particular knife when you do this?
Well, there's no given knife. You know, I use a boning knife at home. You need something with a little blade, but the most practical thing that you can have in your knife is one that's sharp. And actually, you'll get to a point here where you can just tear. I'm working around the wishbones right now, so there's a bunch of meat, and I just got to cut and separate. And actually, you can just use your finger and just pull the meat away. Somebody that's good at this process is probably going to be able to get a chicken boned in less than a minute. You can see I'm probably going to take more like 3 minutes to get one done. But once I've separated here, you can actually just, I'm working up towards the front of the top of the bird.
Wow.
Just right here, and you can just scoop the meat away and just cut it like this, and it's right up close like that. And I'm pretty much, just for pride here, I do like to retain the tail onto the finished product, so I want to be careful at that point and keep it attached for those that might choose to eat that part. But now I've got my Whoops, looks like I didn't make it. I'll leave that with the bird anyway. But now I've got the remainder part that's going to be used for soup. Put in some water, salt, and make your broth. I've got 2 nice pieces. Now I've got a deboned chicken that I'll pick up and show. And then you notice I do have the bones in the legs and the wings. When the bird is finished, what we're going to do is place this bird in a marinade of chilies and olive oil and garlic and other spices like cumin and turmeric, and we're going to marinate it for several hours or overnight. You can actually prepare a few of these birds in advance, put them in the Ziploc bag with the marinade, throw them in your freezer, and then at your convenience take one out, thaw it, and you're ready to cook. My preferred method of cooking one of these is doing it on the grill and having it in a grill basket where I could just flip it easily and cook it slowly till it's just done. And it's also good to do in your house, and it makes a very aromatic kitchen and house. When you're done and you put it on your cutting board, an easy thing to do since it has no bones in the majority of the bird, you just have to simply cut it across, lengthwise and across, and you will have 4 portions, 2 leg and 2 wing portions, that is easier to eat.
And you left some bones in the legs and in the wings. Why?
Yes. Well, it's just a matter of choice. A wing is a difficult thing to debone. In fact, it's fun eating. I prefer eating them that way. And it's also nice on the leg. I can make a slits and remove those bones, but I want to preserve some structure in the bird.
For the piri-piri sauce, we see a bunch of garlic, some fresh lemon juice,
and oil,
olio de olive, piri-piri step 3 with Chef Steve. Next step, Steve, what is it?
We're going to add our spice mixture to our oil and lemon juice and minced garlic, fresh garlic that I have. So I'm putting in the spice mixture.
Which is a secret spice mixture.
Only to those that want to keep it a secret. A lot of it is up to you. I'm whisking it together. And this particular batch I'm doing in the 2 chickens, the mixture has turned out a little bit on the loose side because we had more than a half a cup of fresh lemon juice. We probably put in closer to 3/4 of a cup. So you could cut back on that if you want more of a pasty marinade or not so thick. I like to have it somewhat looser than a regular ketchup, but it should flow around the meat and stick to it a lot, but not be too thin. So this is on the thin side, but it'll work just fine. So once we whisk them and meld them together, we're going to grab each one of our chicken bags that are in a Ziploc gallon bag, and we're going to pour this in over the chicken and massage the bag so that it incorporates all over the parts of all the chicken.
Is this recipe from Padma?
I wish.
Padma!
I'll have to give her a call and see if she'll want to come over and get it. So I'm going to take most of the air out of the bag and seal and zip it up tight, and then rework it a little bit before I set it into marinade. You see, everything's pretty well coated.
That's good.
Inside and out. While we have a more loose marinade mix, this will facilitate getting in and around all parts of the chicken a little easier than one that's quite more pasty. So that's just fine. So now we'll do the second chicken. We'll have 2 chickens ready.
Now what do we have here, Steve?
It looks like piri-piri chicken to me. This is the next day, and we've got them in a pan. They've been marinating all night, and we're going to put them in the oven for about an hour, 15-20 minutes at 350 or so. And then when they come out, we'll set them on a board and we'll quarter them. And they'll be
Look
ready
at
to
how
serve.
nice they look, all marinated.
Wait till they smell. Wait till we smell the kitchen from
Yeah,
the
we'll
oven.
have to make smelly.